Hello, everyone. Here we are again. This is a very big day for the Delphi case. I did say right at the end of my last live that I might not be live today, but then I remembered this. Richard Allen is in court at 9 a.m. Eastern time, so in about 14 minutes time. It's 1:45 in the afternoon for me, so it's just about light enough for me to appear on camera in this little room that gets dark very early. So, yeah, you got me. Just to prove that I'm not dead and that lives haven't been coming to you by a robot. I'm going to turn the camera off in a minute, though. So, you know, I can pick my nose and things like that when the camera's not on. Not that I pick my nose when I'm on lives. Not that I pick my nose anyway, you know, but there you go. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now, there's no cameras in the court, so it's not like I can live stream the court hearing to you, but reporters are in the court and they're going to feed us information. So for those who need some introduction, Richard Allen is the guy that's been arrested in relation to the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, from the murders that occurred back in 2017. The judge sealed the probable cause affidavit and the supporting documents. And today, apparently, the judge is going to decide whether or not those documents are unsealed. So it's a big day. It's a big day for the case. I believe the families don't want them unsealed, but that's just what I've heard. And I don't think that they get a choice, to be quite honest. Hush about the nose. No, I don't pick my nose anyway. No. Anyway, there's multiple people on Twitter who've posted the videos of Richard Allen arriving in court. There he is, arriving in court. He's only small, isn't he? Only small. So there's a lot of people there. And the judge has ordered that Richard Allen appear in person. That's an order of the court. And I think it's going to be the first time that he's in a room with Abby and Libby's family. I mean, obviously, they might have been in a room with him before if they went to the pharmacy that he worked at, but the first time that they're there under these circumstances. So there's tons of the same video. So apparently Fox 59 have the link to watch Delphi murder suspect arriving. Well, loads of people have it. But there you go. So basically, we wait. I'm going to turn my camera off now. Basically, we wait. The hearing starts in about 10 minutes. And then the reporters are going to tweet, I guess. I don't know whether they'll be allowed to tweet. Sometimes the judge orders them not to. His driver's license says Richard Allen is 5'4". He is only short. Very short. Short, dumpy man. That's how I'd describe him as well. Yes, the press are in the court. Yeah. The reporters are in the court. They're great. I posted a video this morning of them romping in the fields. For those of you who missed that video, I've got an update on Quinton, and for everybody that missed the stuff that went on late last night, I've covered all of that in my video this morning. Quinton has been found. His remains have been found in the landfill, and Leilani's been arrested. And I also gave an update on Michael Vaughan as well. So, yeah. What we're saying here. Fox 59 just reported all electronics must be switched off in the courtroom. Okay, so they'll have to update afterwards. I've got Fox 59 actually up here. I'm coming to you from New York. I've got my VPN on. So Alan was seen around 7:57 a.m. walking into the Carroll Courthouse. Carroll County Courthouse, rather, through a side entrance with his arms and legs in shackles. The legs of his orange jumpsuit were visible underneath the court, which surrounded by armed officers. Arrested on October 26th for the 19th. I can't speak today, honestly. 2017 murders of Delphi teens Abby German and Libby Williams. The Carroll County prosecutor asked the circuit judge to seal the charging documents in the case, a move unusual in a murder investigation. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, someone who's been a prominent figure in the Delphi investigation since the girls went missing on February 13th, 2017, said he believes the investigation would not be compromised if the probable cause was unsealed. Yeah, he did a radio interview. I covered that a few days ago. Doug said he doesn't think it will compromise the case. Again, I don't know whether he'd get a choice in it. It's up to the judge. But the judge might take things like that into account. Judge Gull requested Alan appear in person. So there we are. So I can't imagine the hearing's going to be very long. Is there any news on where the trial will be? Is it going to be moved to a different jurisdiction? I'm not aware that they've decided that yet. I'm not aware that they've decided that yet. He definitely has. He definitely has. The walk of shame. I think Doug Carter said that he wasn't going to retire until this was over. But he has his defence has requested. This came out yesterday. The defence has requested that he get bail, that he comes out on bail. So that will be looked at today as well. "1.5 hours away from Delphi. I'd like to go and attend the trial, but I'm sure it will be a madhouse." They have to have a change of venue motion in 30 days if they want to move. So they might have that change of venue motion today. They might hear that today. So if he was arrested at the 27th of October, then he's quickly running out of time. Oh yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he will get. I don't think he'll get it. It might just be a tactic of the defence. It's they've been given the probable cause affidavit. It was hidden from them as well. It was sealed from them as well, but they've been given it. So upon reading it, they've said that he should get bail. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me just find a news piece that talked about it. Came out yesterday. Here we go. Hold on a minute. I don't like my... I'm just changing my windows around. I don't like my StreamYard on the right-hand side. Okay, so I've got a news piece here. Man charged in Delphi killings seeks bail. Lawyers representing the man accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German near the Mon and High Bridge, the banks of Deer Creek, east of Delphi, in the winter of 2017, filed a motion today seeking bail for their client. Attorneys Bradley Rossi and Andrew Baldwin, appointed last week. So he's only just got attorneys. So he's not been able to do anything up to then. Did you see that really begging letter that he sent to the judge? Did you see that? Yeah, requesting public defenders. And he's got two. He's ended up with two. So 3 weeks after Richard Allen was arrested and charged on 2 counts of murder, asked the 50-year-old man be released on his own recognizance or in the alternative to set a reasonable bail. The defence has received and reviewed the probable cause affidavit as of the time of filing of the motion has been sealed. As of the time of the motion has been sealed. Reads the motion filed 1 day before Allen Superior Judge Fran Gull is slated to hear arguments whether to maintain the seal on the probable cause that led to Allen's arrest. The motion asks for a bail hearing. So this is what they said. This is what they said. Where does it say it? Anyway, they were saying that it wasn't strong enough. I read somewhere they said it wasn't strong enough. Indiana State Police said that the probable cause stands on its own and the investigation would not be compromised. And some other lawyers weighed in. Simply might be some information that may be embarrassing, said that guy. So they might release it, you know. They might well do. If the defence has got it. Other issues that may be raised during Tuesday's hearing could include a request for a gag order to prohibit public comment on the case, or a motion by Allen's attorneys to protect their client's right to a speedy trial within 70 days. Wow. Now, that would be very ambitious. As if the attorneys have literally just been appointed and then they go for a speedy trial within 70 days. That's a lot of work for the defence to do. Turner explained who might be covered by the gag order and why the late assignment of public defenders last week might impact Allen's speedy trial constitutional right. Absolutely it might. Absolutely it might. In order to have a gag order that's effective, you have to be able to access information, usually the people who can do that. Prosecutor, the defence, anyone that's working with the two parties. You know, that these defenders are working from scratch. So I can't see a trial happening anytime soon. Honestly, I really can't. Do I think the TBI is as corrupt as Hawkins County? That's relating to Summer, isn't it? We're not talking about Summer today. I mean, you guys can talk about Summer in the chat, but I'm focusing on this case. This case takes precedence above all other at the moment because the hearing is happening right now. The hearing will have just started there in Carroll County. Have you guys saw his attorney's website? It's weird. how they advertise their business and how proud they are that they've gotten violent criminals off at trial. Well, that's their job. I mean, unfortunately, criminals are entitled to as good defense as possible. Everyone's got a right to a fair trial, so that's their job. If that's their job to defend, then he may not make his trial date. If in prison, he'll have to make his trial date. Yeah, I really don't think the judge is going to grant him bail. I don't think. No, it's not just a bail hearing. No, it's happening right now. Right now. It started, if they're on time, it started 2 minutes ago over there in Carroll County. It's 9 a.m. today. I'll show you the, for those who've just come in walking into court. This was Richard Allen at 7:57 this morning, walking into court. The judge demanded that he attend in person. None of this Zoom calling. Judge ordered him to attend in person. So there he is, all 5'4" of him. He's as broad as he is high, as we say here in Northern England. That's him going into court. It's happening right now. Now, there's no cameras allowed in the court, and the judge has ordered that the journalists who are present in court turn their electronic devices off. So we're not going to get tweets from the courtroom, as sometimes happens in these cases. The judge has banned that. So we just wait. Now, it's not just a bail hearing. The attorneys have requested that he have a bail hearing. So maybe that will happen today, or maybe they'll schedule that on a different day. This hearing is to decide whether or not the probable cause affidavit gets unsealed. So it's a big day. I don't think people realise how big a day this is. You know, for the case, we've no idea why. With nothing, there's not been any leaks or anything. The defence only got the documents yesterday, apparently. Yeah, Cassie will give you some happy in your life, definitely. Little man syndrome. Yeah, maybe. My dad was only little. He had little man syndrome, definitely. I think it should be unsealed. Well, Doug Carter, I do, because Doug Carter, the chief superintendent, who has done so much for this case, been so involved in this case, has said that it won't affect the trial if it's unsealed. So that made me feel happy to have it unsealed. I didn't want it unsealed if it was going to compromise the trial in any way at all. It could be accused of doing, you know how the defence tries to spin things. But I think they want it unsealed. I think the defence wants it unsealed. I don't know about the prosecutor, because it was the prosecution that wanted it sealed. I don't think the families want it unsealed. That's just what I've heard. Exactly. You know, usually arrest warrants, arrest affidavits are public record. So there's always that. There's always that opinion that they should be unsealed no matter what. So it kind of depends how you feel about it. But I think, based on what Doug Carter said, I think that they should unseal it. There hasn't been any leaks, so we've got no idea, not even an inkling, as to why they arrested Richard Allen. We know we've got little glimpses, small glimpses into the crime scene, but that's not from any arrest warrant, affidavit, or anything regarding Richard Allen. We get a glimpse of that from those documents that came out relating to Ron Logan, you know, about there being used of a weapon, and then I think it said bladed weapon, but bladed was redacted, and the body's potentially being staged. So there's little things like that have come out, but they've come out via another person being a suspect who's since passed away, but that document has made its way into the public domain. Yeah. Yeah. We don't know that he did have a gun. We don't know that he did have a gun. This is the thing. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. We believe the murder weapon was a bladed weapon. You know, there was blood at the scene. These are just little snippets we've heard from documentation from another suspect. But obviously, what's been described at the crime scene stays the same regardless of who the suspect is. So the fact people are talking about him having a gun, we don't know he had a gun. We don't know that. Never been stated. It's one of those rumors that makes it around, just the rounds, you know, because people say, well, he must have had a gun to be able to overpower them. And then that gets turned in the game of telephone, it gets turned to he had a gun and that's how he overpowered them. It's just like the small change of wording that people take as fact. We don't know anything. Yes, he's a pharmacy tech. Who would suspect a pharmacy tech? Exactly, who would suspect him? But it was a result of the reason why he was caught was because the police went through old tips. So he'd actually come forward in the very early days. He'd come forward and said he was at the bridge that day. So what he's done, he's protected himself because somebody might have seen him, and he fears somebody might have seen him. So if he goes to them himself, then it makes him look innocent. You know, he goes and says, look, I was there that day. I went for a walk. I was off work. I went for a walk. I didn't see anything. So he's made himself look good in the eyes of the law. But there was tips that came in. And it was a result of the police going through all tips, because they spent so long, like from 2019 onwards, talking about Kegan Kline and the Anthony shots and stuff. Or was that 2020? But they talked so long about that. That's where the direction that the police went in, because it's incredibly suspicious that Kegan Kline spoke to Libby on the day of the murders. There's these suspicious things that implicate Kegan Kline. So they went down the Kline route, and then they've probably got nowhere with Kegan Kline, and he's been sitting in jail on the child porn charges. So now they've got to, you know, they went back. They went back to the beginning. I'm always telling you, go back to the beginning. Any investigation that goes on for any length of time, keep going back to the beginning, because you never know, you've missed something the first time round. New sets of eyes come in to the case. This was a tips that came in very early on, like 2017. The crime took place in February 2017. It's a long time. There'll be new people who've come into that to the team. It was, but like this is what's being said, that he came forward. He's not said that himself. The law hasn't said that. So again, what we've heard is all, but we do know the police have said that they were reviewing all tips, and that's how they came upon Richard Allen. So we do know that as a fact. Everything else is rumour, conjecture. Some of those rumours are going to be true, but we don't know. Exactly. He was right. That 2019 press conference where he said, you know, you might be sitting in this room right now. So, yeah, all right, let's have a look, see what's going on Twitter. I'm going to refresh the page here. Okay, we've got the petition. So, the petition to let bail, limited appearances, motion prohibiting parties from disseminating information or releasing statements to the public. So this is what the defence have put together. So in support of his petition, the accused, others, never heard that word before, the following: that the accused Richard Allen was arrested and charged with murder on or about October 28th, that the defence has received and reviewed the probable cause, and as of the time of filing of this motion has been sealed, because neither the proof of guilt is evident. Now, this is important, that because neither the proof of guilt is evidence, nor the presumption of guilt is strong, the accused is seeking a hearing to release the accused on his own recognizance, or in the alternative, to set a reasonable bail. So the defence, on reviewing the probable cause affidavit, believe that there's no proof of guilt, nor the presumption of guilt that's strong enough. So he should be let out on bail. That's what they're saying. Now, this is just a tactic. Let's be clear. This is just a tactic that these defence guys use. But we are going to save that, because we save everything. We save everything in this neck of the woods. What else have we got here? My cat's meowing. Can you hear her? So, limited appearance by attorneys. Why will it not go any bigger? It's very small writing. The undersigned attorney and all attorneys listed, blah, blah, blah. Limited person challenging the provisional sealing of the probable cause affidavit and charging information, blah, blah, blah. So, limited appearance is on behalf of the following parties. And then these are press associations. Okay. Don't really know what that means, but we'll save it anyway. This is all brand new stuff coming out. So this was filed today. So motion for prohibiting the parties, council, law enforcement officials, court personnel, coroner and family members from disseminating information or releasing any extrajudicial statements by means of public communication. So that basically puts a gag order on people like Doug Carter from coming out, or the family even tweeting anything. So that the case received extensive treatment in the local, national, international. I think that boat has sailed a long time ago. Dawn, did the press make a motion to release the information and open the court? They asked. I'm sure they will have asked. I'm sure they will have asked. But no, the judge has not allowed it. They're not allowed to tweet. They've had to turn their phones off. So they're not allowed to tweet. Is that so they can't use it for being published in a book or on TV? No, it's only up to the trial. So, it basically means that all these people, if this motion is passed, this is just a request. So this is just a motion to go in front of the judge to say, counsel, law enforcement officials, court personnel, coroner, and family members from disseminating information or releasing any extrajudicial statements by means of public communication. So basically anything about the case. The books will come later, I'm sure, but the books will come after if people are writing books. But no, it's just to stop them saying anything that might impede the trial or give away anything that's going on. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's interesting. Suzanne, you sent a super chat. It says it was successful, but I don't see it coming through. Sometimes it can take a minute. Just give it a minute. It's definitely not come through, has it? It's not come through on my end here. Just give it a minute, though. It might do. Thank you for the thought anyway. Check your bank, because if it goes out of your bank and doesn't come through, that's a bit mean of YouTube. Never known that happened before, honestly, but so the media accounts concerning this, blah, blah, blah. There's reason to believe that the media will continue to cover this cause of action extensively, and publicity will prejudice a fair trial. So they want to shut it down. It's a fair assessment, but I think the ship sailed, honestly. So there's nothing at this moment in time coming out. Keep an eye on that, though. I'm sure that the news media, as soon as they come out of court, they'll be tweeting, and then we'll get the news reports later. But it'll be those first tweets. That's why I went live early, because it's not a bad time for me, this, actually. Like, it's a good time. It's like mid-afternoon, so it's easy for me to sit here for an hour or two and wait for those tweets, because this is exactly what I'd be doing anyway. You're just keeping me company while I'm sitting here waiting for tweets to come through. So your job is just to keep me company. And I know it's way too early for some people. You know, people on the Pacific coast are going to be still in bed probably. So they couldn't calculate the height of Bridge Guy. I think Gray Hughes did. I think Gray Hughes tried to calculate his height, and I don't think he was too far off, actually. I don't think he was too far off. Like he said, he was a short guy. You're now 20 minutes into Wednesday. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. Oh, Melissa. Good. I'm glad you're happy to keep me company. The defense. That was the defense. So it's, so look at his name. Andrew Baldwin, counsel for accused. Baldwin, Perry, and Camish PC from Franklin, Indiana. It's the defense counsel. Yeah, Fox 59 News are on it. I've got Fox 59 News up here. Let's see what they're saying. They're meant to be doing live updates, but they can't do any live updates because they weren't allowed in court. Well, they weren't allowed to tweet from the courtroom, so there's nothing coming out yet. So the hearing's obviously still going on. There's nothing new. There's just 50 million tweets showing Richard Allen walking into court. There was no real way to gauge just by looking at that like couple of seconds, because it was a loop. So I think it was a 3-second clip that has just been looped, so it looks like he's walking, but it's not. If you look at it really carefully, it jumps, and when you take a still shot from it, it's difficult to gauge. I think how Gray, I might be wrong, I think how Gray used it was he used the tracks as some like kind of gauge. Like how, I don't know. I just remember Gray Hughes talking about it, and if I remember rightly, I think he said 5'6". I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. My memory might be playing tricks on me, but I do know Gray thought originally that he was a shorter guy. But maybe law enforcement didn't do that. Maybe they didn't have an assessment of his height. You've not missed too much, no. No, we're just waiting because the judge ordered that the reporters in court had to switch off their electronic devices so they can't tweet from inside court. What I loved about Barry Morphew's hearings was the judge allowed the tweeting. So what's her name who covered it? Laura Scharf, I think her name is, something like that. She was great. Her tweets were fantastic because she get like her fingers must have been like going about 50 million miles an hour, her thumbs, because she was tweeting the whole thing. She tweeted the whole thing. So you got a really good assessment of what was going on. But came up with 5'6" to 5'7". Yeah, trackside, yeah. Yeah. Oh, so I wasn't too far off, was I? Hey, that's my memory, that, because it was a while ago. It was a while ago. So Gray wasn't far wrong. Gray wasn't far off. Showed it again recently, did he? Maybe that's why I'm remembering it from recently. But I do remember it a while ago, a long time ago, Gray doing it. It was, wasn't it? It absolutely was. She was so good. Lauren Scharf, I think her name is. She was so good at Barry Morphews. But Fox 59 said that they'd have live updates, but then they obviously can't have live updates because they had to turn off their media. So we've got to wait until they come out. Till they come out. But there is 50 million and still increasing. So for those who've just come in, let's watch Richard Allen going into court. There he is. He's a real short horse. Very short. For a man. There he is. Suzanne, thank you for the $10. Thank you, Michelle, for being amazing. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Stout. Square. We say as broad as he is high. Oh, he's broad as he is high, him. That's what we say. I was about 5', 6.5. I've lost 1.5 inches worth of height because I've got 2 collapsed discs in my spine. So I'm now 5'5". But I was 5', 6.5". I was almost 5'7". I was trying to get, my mum's 5'7", so I was always trying to beat her and pretend that I pretended for a long time that I was 5'8" to beat her. And she said, "There's no way you're 5'8", Michelle. No way you're 5'8". You're smaller than me." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not." She's like, "You are." But I was only just a tidgin smaller than her. Only just a tidgy bit smaller than her. And I'm 5'5" now. Walks like bridge guy, doesn't he though? Doesn't he though? Let's watch it again. I'm sure that there'll be, it's a shame it's from behind, but he does walk like bridge guy. Watch him. I'm sure that there'll be 5 million videos like starting now. They'll be being filmed right now, slowing this down and comparing it to bridge guy, but he really does. Watch him. I can't slow this down obviously because it's not in an editor. But later, I'm probably not putting a video, but I'm going to film this, like just take a screen grab of this and slow it down. But it really does. Like, look, watch. He does. It kind of goes over slightly onto one side. But he is in shackles, though. He is in shackles. So you've got to take that into account as well. I don't think anybody's going to walk like with a really strong stride if they're in shackles, but he does. He really does. And the belly. Yeah. So he's definitely the right build, the right kind of stature, even though we thought it was a bit higher. Similar walk. But that obviously that doesn't count as evidence in a trial, does it? You really can't confirm his gait as video spliced it. That's true. That is true. That is true. Because, like I said a few minutes ago, I think it was 3 seconds, the clip. But, like, it's been looped. So it looks like he's walking. And they did that. I think they released it because they wanted to see if somebody would recognize him. But clearly not. Clearly not. Oh, I can guarantee you any money he had a bulletproof vest on. Oh, that's harsh. Itching powder. I don't normally go in for body shaming, but this is quite amusing. While we're sitting here waiting for news, like I said before, I'd literally just be sitting here refreshing Twitter. That's all I'd be doing this afternoon until the news came out. So you are just keeping me company. That's all you're doing this afternoon. Just constantly refreshing Twitter. But if anybody finds it anywhere else, you know, the eagle-eyed among you, and I know I've got some very eagle-eyed people who frequent my channels. So if you find any news before I do, I think the first news will come out on Twitter as soon as those reporters get out of court. They'll be tweeting because it'll take a while for the news reports to be written, but tweets take a few seconds as soon as they come out. And then the judge might, if he agrees to unseal the probable cause affidavit, they might They might release them immediately, or he might say it'll get unsealed from midnight, like a certain date, like from midnight tonight or tomorrow morning. Wee buzz wobble. Oh, oh dear. Harsh. She's a labradoodle. She's a big labradoodle, not one of those small ones. She's a big one. If you're scared of heights, that bridge is definitely not for you. But they don't fall down. That's what they're deciding today. That is what they're deciding today. The judge, this is why today isn't really important. This isn't just a standard hearing. I wouldn't be covering it like this. If this was just a standard hearing, there's no way I'd be sitting here spending my time just constantly refreshing Twitter. If it was just a standard hearing, like if it was a bail hearing or just a motion going through. It's just really important because this is the day the judge is going to decide whether or not the probable cause affidavit is unsealed. Thank you, Dawn, for the $9.99. That's very kind of you. If you need another moderator, could always do with a few more mods. We've got a couple of mods on this channel now, but I can mod you, Emily. You're always in my chats, so I'll give you a wrench. Hold on, give me a second. There we go, Emily. We've got a wrench now. Trixie's does great work. We've got a couple of other mods as well, but just a few more hands. The tweet's usually the chat's usually pretty respectful anyway. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful. It's dreadful, isn't it? It's dreadful. Yeah, my two old ones had them put to sleep in September. It's just awful, dreadful. WGN-TV had a clip of Richard getting out of the van. I did not see shackles on him. Oh. It was, I think it's, who was it who said it? I think it's probably Fox 59 who said he was in shackles. All right, let's refresh this. No, nothing yet. We've got somebody with an interesting graphic here. Put this on screen while we're waiting. So this is somebody called John. Big day in the saga of the Delphi murders, beginning this morning's hearing for Richard Allen, which will in part determine if more info is released to the public. Obviously hoping the judge does not agree to release on his own recognizance. No, exactly. So, Monon High Bridge is here. Richard Allen's house is here. And then Abby's house is about a mile, less than a mile from Richard Allen's. He's not got Abby's house on this, but it's very close. But Don't know. Miss Chasey Stringer. Good night, wherever you are. I assume you're talking about the night, or maybe you're going for an afternoon nap, but have a good sleep. And I'm sure that the news will be, by the time you wake up, there will be news all over about this case. All over. Fox 59 just broadcast footage of Richard Allen's family arrival. So evidently they're supporting him. Oh, dear me. All right, let's see if we can get Fox 59. I've got Fox 59 up here. See if we can find it on Fox 59's website. Top story. That's the same one. That's the same thing that I had. What's is it on their website or is it on their Twitter? Let's have a look, see if we can find them on Twitter. I don't follow Fox 59 on Twitter, so see if we can find them. That's the same one. I don't know where you saw that. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's Libby's grandparents. Oh. Oh, Libby's grandparents, Mike and Becky, along with Libby's sister, just arrived at the courthouse. It's a big day for them. Here's the line to get into Carroll County Courthouse this morning. Heavy security presence at the Carroll County Courthouse ahead of Richard. I bet there is. I bet there is. That's it. I don't see Richard's family. Unless it's on that new, it might be on that news report. I'm not going to play that because they'll copyright claim me. And it means that I have to edit it out later. Richard Allen, Delphi hearing. Let's do Richard Allen. I thought the hearing might be quite quick, but they've probably got a lot to discuss. The way the courts are moving with Richard Allen in Delphi, Indiana, is extremely weird. The secrecy surrounding this case is pretty much unheard of in American courts. He must be a serial killer with more charges to come. What's John saying here? His ex-wife and stepdaughter, animal cruelty, deviant crimes. He shared Kagan's electronic devices. He knew Richard Allen in Peru. I won't be surprised if Tony Klein was at the crime scene in one of the murders. I think he's talking about the Kleins there rather than Richard Allen. Talking about Tony Klein, I think. No, he was talking about Tony Klein, just reading between the lines, you know, about the stepchildren, and like Tony Klein was a bit of a horrible person. And he's divorced, so. Well, yeah, you would think he wouldn't want to get out. But they'd give him, you know, he'll have to go into hiding, I would imagine. I don't think going back to live in Delphi would be a very good idea. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right. Well, enjoy your tires. Enjoy new tires. Well, yeah, but I think we're going to see more of it. If you just want my opinion, I think we're going to see more of this kind of sealing of documentation because of social media, and just, you know, in the old days, if a case, you know, was well known in that local area, all they'd have to do is just move it to a different county, and it would be okay, because, you know, people wouldn't have heard of it. But because of like media and the social media particularly, cases go viral. So sealing documents, I don't think is a bad thing, honestly, moving forward. But what's made me think that they should unseal it in this case is because Doug Carter has said that it won't prejudice the trial. So then let's unseal it. Let's see it then. Because surely the only real reason why documents should be sealed is if it's going to prejudice the right to a fair trial. That surely trumps the public's allowance to see it, to see that documentation. That's what's being said, Jeanette. Yeah. That's what's being said. He'd have to go into hiding. He would. Just once the last Thanksgiving meal. Yeah. I will fall off my chair if the judge grants him bail. And we might not find that out today. The judge might just say, well, we'll schedule a bail hearing. It's the potential unsealing of the documents that I want to know. Richard's family rival was a recorded clip. Fox 69's reporter standing outside the courthouse broadcast locally a few minutes ago. Okay, that's let's have a look. It's probably not made its way onto the website. That'll be why. That'll be why. Oh, my heart skipped a beat then. I saw breaking. The judge said she will decide whether or not to release the documents at a later time. Oh, that was breaking. Oh, wow. That really was breaking. A judge said she will release on a later time. And then a bond hearing for Richard Allen is set for February 17th. There we go. So he's not going to get out for Thanksgiving. Let's read this report here. This VPN is working well. Why do websites like be really weird? Richard Matthew Allen was formally charged with 2 counts of murder on October 28th. We know that. A judge new details about the deaths of the two Delphi teenagers and why police believe Richard Allen is responsible for the murders. A judge decided to take the motion to release the documents under advisement and will release an order at a future time. She said she will take into consideration the upcoming holiday. She set a bond hearing for February 17th and cancelled a January court date. Allen has also submitted a petition to be let out on bail. As part of that petition, Allen claims that because neither the proof of guilt is evidence nor the presumption of guilt strong, the accused is seeking a hearing to release him. So there we have our answer. Not being released today, by the looks of things. So that's just the history of it. So the breaking news, my heart skipped a beat, and then I just read, oh, they're going to release. Oh, and then I went, oh my God, they're not going to release. What? Judge to decide later on release of court docs in Delphi murders case. It's very indecisive. Indecisive. The judge decided to take the motion to release the documents under advisement and will release an order at a future time. She said she will take into consideration the upcoming holiday. She set a bond hearing for February 17th. So he's obviously not going for the speedy trial option because February 17th, that's like 3 months away. So that's more than 70 days, isn't it? Sweet dreams. Could be, maybe released after Thanksgiving. It's indecisive, not to give a date. I will take this under advisement. I will think about it, and I will give you a decision on, and then give a date. What does this mean? It means that the probable cause affidavit and whatever supporting documents go with that remain under seal for now. But the judge is going to basically, taking it under advisement, is that I thought it was a male judge. I've been saying he all this time. That's sexist of me. That she'll listen to the advice. So she's under advisement. She'll listen to advice. She'll think about it, and she'll release an order at a future time. Means maybe she'll release an order for them to be unsealed, or she might release an order for them to remain sealed. So it's doesn't tell us very much, quite frankly. Renee, thank you for the $10. Thank you. The delay will also allow the prosecution to get more of their case together. So it's a good thing, right? Yeah. But because Allen's arrested now, it means that the defense has a right to see every single piece of paper that the prosecution collects. So, so there's that. Everybody's releasing it now. Judge overseeing the Delphi murder case says she's taking the motion to release Richard Allen's charging documents under advisement. For the time being, is keeping the documents sealed and will release docs at a later date. So she will release them, but not yet. It didn't tell us where Richard Allen will be until February 17th. He's been in a state prison for his own protection. So honestly, I don't really care where he is. As long as he's locked up, I don't care which cell he's sitting in, honestly. So he's probably going back to the same prison that he came from. He'll be singing Christmas carols to his cellmates. Yeah, well, at least at that, I think that's good. You know, she's not just said, she's dangled a carrot. She's dangled a carrot. She's not just said, nope, no bond. She said, oh, I'll think about it and we'll review this on February 17th. So, you know, if you thought he was going to get out for Thanksgiving, thought he was going to get out for Christmas, that's good, that. I like that. Kelly, member for 1 month. Great coverage, Michelle. You're just keeping me company, that's all. This is what I'd be doing this afternoon. Refreshing Twitter. Oh, somebody with a... Surely that's a spoof account. Maybe not. Sure there is somebody called Richard Allen. See what Fox 59 is saying. I know a lot of people don't like me using Fox, and I understand where you're coming from, but I use anything I can get my hands on. They're not being very good anyway. They've not updated for ages. So thank you, Blue Willow, for the $20. Thank you. You thank me, I'll thank you. What's this? Oh, that's that W. I've got too many windows open now. Let's have a look. Was anyone from the media? Member for 9 months, Blue Willow. Was anyone from the media present at Richard Allen's hearing today regarding unsealing affidavit? What were the arguments as the judge made a ruling? I want to know whether they've made a ruling on the privacy thing as well. I guess it might be a few hours. You know, they'll do like a thorough write-up of everything that happened. Do we have a time for Leilani Simon? Do we have a time? Is she in court today? It'll be a bond hearing, won't it? Let's do Quinton. I'm so glad they found him, though. I mean, it's horrible, but I'm glad. You know, just imagine the thought of him in that landfill. And look at his little face. Look at his little face. Okay. Leilani Simon is expected to appear in bond hearing tomorrow, not today. That's according to Legacy. She's pretty good, actually. She gets the facts right. Let's do... yeah, I am sharing. Let's do Leilani Simon bond hearing. We know she's been arrested. I don't know, bond hearing. Try USA Today. So where did Legacy get that information from? Yeah, no bond. I don't think she'll get bond. I really don't think she'll get bond. I mean, come on, you know, it's been bad enough. It's been bad enough while she's been out there free, living her life. It's been bad enough. They're not going to release her on bond. There is no way they're going to release her on bond and spend any more money protecting her. Come on. Come on. You know, it was only a few days ago that Chief Hadley was talking to the commissioners meeting. We talked about this on the live yesterday, about how much it's costing and how many officers are being used to patrol, and let alone what it's cost and the resources, the time to find Quinton. Why should they spend, you know, you guys in America, this is your tax dollars, isn't it? This is your tax dollars. Like, I get furious when I see my tax pounds getting spent on things like this. It makes me furious. So I'm guessing that you guys are furious as well, that your tax dollars are being spent on finding a little boy whose mother allegedly put him in a dumpster. How much does that cost? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And if she's out on bond, they'll have to spend more dollars protecting her. And quite frankly, no. It's not giving me a time. It's not giving me a date. I'm getting impatient. Impatient, here I am. I know what I'll do. I'll do this. Past hour. Oh, there we go. Arraignment is scheduled for Wednesday. So we need a time for that. I will be live tomorrow because there's a press conference for the Idaho 4. Hundreds of thousands of tax dollars. Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah. I mean, I bet those FBI agents, I bet they've been paid handsomely. And so they should be, rifling through all of that trash. And just the amount, drives me, makes me so mad. Makes me so mad. So arraignments tomorrow. So I'll find a time for that. But the press conference for the Idaho 4 is 1 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 9 p.m. my time. So that's just about early enough for me. I did a live stream at 10 p.m. the other day. And that was late for me. Because I get up really early. I go bright and breezy in the morning. I go really tired about this time. And then I wake up in the evening. But by 10, 11, I'm starting to flag again. So I don't really like going live like that time. Although it's prime time for, you know, the American audience. 70% of my audience is either America or Canada. So I'm not making the best use of my time, actually. I stream at the wrong times for my audience. But because I've been streaming a lot lately, but I don't usually. I usually only stream if there's something really, really important. But there's been so many things, though, guys, hasn't there? There's been so many things that have been just about every case I'm following has had breaking news and has had developments. So I've been on almost every day. Like we had last week, we had the Michael Vaughan updates every day that the reporters were doing. We've had this today, Delphi. We've got Leilani being arrested and Quinton being found. We just need Summer now. Summer Wells. We need Summer Wells to be found. We need arrests made in the Summerwells case. Best looking dogs on the internet. Oh, don't tell them, they'll get really big-headed. Take a nap. I might do, actually. I've got some stuff to do, though. I've got some stuff to do. Thank you, Suzanne. Billy Joe should be charged with leaving Quinton with Leilani alone with her. Other children went out of town knowing she was unfit. Billy Joe was supposed to protect Quinton and she did not. I get that. I do get that. However, you could argue, I do understand where you're coming from, and I have that feeling as well. But I can look at it the other way a little bit, because she was paying a babysitter. She was paying a babysitter to look after the kids in the day, and then Daniel Youngkin was there in the evenings. And there was also this other brother that we've never heard from. So there were other adults in the house. It just so happens that for whatever happened, those adults weren't able to protect Quinton. So I get what you're saying. I do honestly get what you're saying, but I don't think she'll be arrested because there was other adults in the house that could have protected him as well. I bet they looked long and hard at the whole circumstance, though. And Daniel Youngkin, I bet he's just told. I bet he's told everything. So, yeah. Don't think Billy Joe knew kids were not going to babysitter. Yeah. I think that's why Billy Joe was so angry with the babysitter, and she flew over to Diana's house. I think that's why she was so angry. She was directing her anger at the wrong person, in my opinion, but I can see where that anger came from, because she was saying, you were meant to help me. You were, I paid you to help me. You were meant to be helping me. And what she didn't, I mean, obviously she's angry, but what she didn't see at that moment, she may have seen it after, what she didn't see at that moment was Diana was told she wasn't needed that day. So what's Diana meant to do? She's the babysitter. She can't go and steal the children and say, oh, well, I'm having them anyway. That'd be like kidnap. She can't do that. So charged with malice murder. Yeah. As I said this morning, I'm wondering whether they've gone for that really big charge to get her to talk. Because if she talks and she pleads guilty, they might give her something like, I don't know what the equivalent of our manslaughter is. Like if Quinton, let's say, for example, Quinton drowned, let's just say that, because Billy Joe has said that her theory is that he drowned. Let's say he drowned, then you've still got the potential for murder, I think. I don't know what the laws are like in Georgia, honestly. I think you've still got the potential for a murder charge, but it most probably, wouldn't it be second degree murder or manslaughter? And then you've got child endangerment, maybe on top of that. I don't know how it's going to play out, but that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, hit her with the big charge, hit her with the death penalty, and then see how she, see what she does. Will she tell the truth? Will she tell the truth to save her own skin, to save her own life? Will she tell the truth? And then they can renegotiate and get something like manslaughter, which obviously manslaughter in the UK is pitiful. It's pitiful. Like, you only get a handful of years. You don't get very many years for manslaughter. Angel talks too fast. Thanks for the $5. Appreciate your hard work, Michelle. Hope you got my email. I haven't checked my emails for days. So do you know what? I haven't checked my emails since the last person on a live last week said, Michelle, did you get my email? So I'll check my emails after this stream. So most probably did, just haven't checked, because that's what I'm like. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. So that's where I'm thinking. I might be completely wrong, but I think hit her with malice murder, hit her with the death penalty, get her to talk, because you know what? As I said in my video today, I mean, it's gruesome, it's brutal when you think about how beautiful Quentin was, but they might not be able to ascertain a cause of death at the autopsy. They might, but they might not. And the cops will know that. And the prosecutors will know that. So, so proving malice murder might be difficult if they can't ascertain a cause of death. I think it's a tactic. We'll wait and see. Wait and see how it plays out. No, we don't. No. We don't have special laws. Like you've got murder or manslaughter. So we don't have first and second degree and third degree. We don't have that. It's either murder or manslaughter. Like when I was on the jury in 2020 for a murder trial, our options were we convict them of murder, we convict them of manslaughter, or we acquit them. And we found them guilty of murder. Guess what they got? Guess what they got? Give me a guess. I might have told you before, but just give me some guesses in the chat. Right, so the case was a father and son, so a man in his 50s and a man in his early 30s, out drinking. There was a lot of alcohol involved, and the allegation was that a 67-year-old man, they beat him and kicked him to death. That was the allegation. We found them both guilty. And I've probably told you before because some of you have got it right. Jeanette says 16 years, 15 years, 12 years, 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 17 years. We got 2 years, 5 years, 30 years, 5 years. Big, 18 months. Wow. Oh my God. 8 years, 5 years. Right. In the UK, if they're found guilty of murder, the minimum mandatory sentence is 15 years. So if they're found guilty of murder, the judge has to give them 15 years. And then the judge adds on years for things like aggravating factors. Like in the Katie Kenyon case, which I talked about last week, and I did a video on Michelle Walks, the perp there got 32 years. So the judge gave him way over the mandatory minimum because he planned it at least 3 weeks before. He dug Katie's own grave before he even killed her. He drove her all the way to the kill site, killed her, lied about it, sent text messages pretending to be her to her children who were just little kids. So the judge added on a lot of years. But in the case I sat on, we found them guilty. John, the dad, who was the one that instigated all, got 16 years, and then Daniel, the son, he was just following his dad's lead. I think he was just trying to protect his dad and went too far, quite honestly. But we saw him on the CCTV. We saw him putting the kicks in. We could see him on the CCTV putting the kicks in. It was horrible. We had to watch that over and over and over and over again. But there was some interpretation of the various CCTVs that had caught it all. So yeah, they took the chance and took it to trial. But if they got manslaughter, they'd probably be out in 5 years, probably. All that on good behaviour. But we took them down. We took them down. Safe journey, Emily, wherever you're going. I'm missing some chat here. Oh, there we go. Driving now. All right. Take care. See you later. I'm going to get off now anyway. It is a horrible case. You want me to show it you? Just quickly before we sign off. What's his name? I don't think I've ever shown you the case that I was a jury member on. Cassie's come bugging me. She wants a wee, I think. So I'm going to go in a minute, but I'll just show you this. It might be of interest. So this was father and son jail. Go away. Father and son jail for the murder of Haslingden man Barry Tyree. Father and son have been jailed for life. Life. What a joke. Mind you, the guy, John, the father, another 16 years, he's going to be in his 70s when he gets out. John Taylor and Daniel Taylor. So 57 and so John Taylor's going to be what? 16 years, 73. Daniel Taylor will be 45. Of Blackburn Road, Haslingden, were convicted at Preston Crown Court today of killing Barry Tyree, 69, last year. The pair were jailed for life and ordered to serve a total of 31 years. So 16 years for him and 15 years for him. Look at him. Look at him. And they sat in the dock the whole time, completely emotionless. Like the faces that they've got there, that was the faces that I sat watching for 3 weeks. The trial took 3 weeks. Their faces were emotionless. Nothing. When they went through all the forensic evidence, when the family were crying, his daughters, his granddaughters were there. He'd just become a great grandfather, like that day or the day before. Oh, dear me. And they were just totally emotionless. Detective Chief Inspector Gareth Willis of Lancashire Police said this was an incredibly shocking and senseless attack on a pensioner, which makes his death all the more tragic. Barry was a popular and well-respected member of the local community, and I want to thank everyone who came forward. They had loads of witnesses. This is why it took so long. There's like 20-odd witnesses that came forward, providing significant assistance to the investigation team and also the many witnesses who have attended court. Their support has helped bring these two men to justice for Barry. Our thoughts remain with his family and friends at this extremely difficult time. Police have been called to reports of a fight outside the Traders Club on Regent Street in Haslingden around 10:20 on August 25th, 2019. Mr. Tyree is found at the scene with serious injuries by emergency services. Despite the efforts of the public, right, there was a nurse who tried to help him. Like she just was out for the night. Somebody gave him tried to resuscitate him. Like people just jumped in to help him, and they said he fell by accident. That was what they said. They fell by accident. Oh, he just fell. He just slipped. We were arguing, but he just slipped. What they didn't realise was there was CCTV on the corner, which it was one of those that pans around, and it just missed the vital because it was really good shot of the argument, and then it panned just at the wrong time, and it missed the actual kicking. But somebody's own private surveillance caught it, and then there was a business further down the road that caught it as well. Now it was very grainy, but you could see it, and they played it over and over and over. And then in the deliberation room, when we could see it close up, you could actually see the kicks going in. And despite efforts of the public, police and paramedics, Mr. Tyree did not regain consciousness and was later pronounced dead at Royal Blackburn Hospital. Following an investigation, detectives discovered Mr. Tyree had been attacked after intervening in an argument John Taylor was having with a woman outside the club. John was kicking off at his ex-girlfriend, and his ex-girlfriend was giving some back, and Barry just tried to split them up. That's all. That's all. Just trying to be, you know, he knew John. Do you know what? Him and John had been out on the Saturday. This happened on the Monday. John and Barry had been out on like a coach trip to somewhere together. They'd been friends for years. And Barry just went, you can just imagine it, saying, come on, John, calm down, calm down. And John kicked off, and then Daniel took his dad's side and kicked the lights out of him, kicked the living daylights out of him. Awful. John and Daniel Taylor had been drinking in several bars during the evening before they went to the Regent Street Club. John Taylor was seen arguing aggressively outside the club with a woman, Lizzie, and his son left after others intervened. Yeah, they left, right? Get this, they left, went and got food and came back, resumed the argument, and that's when he was murdered. So they actually took themselves away from the argument with the woman, with his ex, went and got food, and we watched all the CCTV of going into the local takeaway. We could see Daniel eating, walking back to the club, and then John legs it back, starts the argument all over again, and that's when Barry intervenes. Seriously. Short time later, the pair returned to the club where the argument continued on a street outside. Mr. Tyree intervened and was punched by John Taylor, causing him to fall to the floor. He then continued to punch Mr. Tyree. He did, absolutely. Unconscious on the ground, kicking his head with force. Daniel Taylor got on top of him and punched him repeatedly in the head. Terrible. You could see the kicks going in. You could see it. Both attackers left the scene and were later arrested by the police. Clothing recovered from both men later contained Mr. Tyree's blood. Post-mortem examination gave the cause of death as traumatic subarachnoid hemorrhage, a bleeding at the base of the brain caused by blows or blows to the head. Also revealed evidence of at least 7 blows to the head, including bruising consistent with footwear marks. Yeah, they had the footwear and everything. The Taylors were charged with murder but pleaded not guilty in court. Following a 3-week trial, they were convicted of Mr. Tyree's murder. John Taylor was sentenced to life, minimum term of 16 years, and Daniel jail for life with a minimum term of 15 years. Paying tribute to Mr. Tyree, a much-loved member of the local community, his daughter Lisa. She was there every single day. Every day. She listened to everything. My dad was dearly loved by all his family and everyone that knew him. We will never get over what happened to him and struggle even more knowing 2 people were supposed to be his friends were responsible for his death. As a family, we are pleased with this conviction and feel that justice has been served. No sentence can ever bring my dad back, but we will at least try to move forward and remember my dad for the kind and loving man he was. There he is. There's Barry. There's Barry. He had so many injuries, though. So many. They just went mental on him. They just went mental on him. So sad. It took us less than an hour and a half to reach the verdict. So, yeah, wade through the crap so you don't have to. They will. Oh, they will. They will. I mean, the advice we were given by the clerk of court after the trial was over, she said, just forget everything you've heard. And I'm not going to forget because, you know, this is the kind of stuff I'm into, but it's horrible being there, actually being there, seeing it all play out. It was surreal. It was surreal for me. Because I've been in psychology for so long, forensic psychology for so long, it was really surreal. But no, I'll never forget. I'll never forget. But I think some of them, some of the jury members were traumatized. So you can imagine, you can just imagine what it's going to be like for the jury in the Delphi, you know, 2 girls, like, I think where it's any kid, I mean, just horrible, you know, horrible. You're talking about the grand jury in Tennessee. I'm honestly not thinking that they're going to consider Summer's case, honestly. Yeah. Stop for snacks, yeah. Went to the kebab shop, I think, if I remember rightly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I kicked myself out of my own stream then. Yeah, John started this argument. This argument got really heated. People got involved. They walked off, went to the takeaway with Daniel's cousins, and then came back. And John started the argument again. Didn't get a chance to calm down. Started the argument again and just carried on. And Barry tried to stop him. You know, just said, you know, try to split them up like you do when somebody's kicking off. And they just attacked him. They just launched an attack on him for absolutely no reason. No reason. Who stopped for snacks? If you're just coming in, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. I was on a jury in 2020 for on a murder trial, and the people who got convicted, the offenders, stopped an argument to go for something to eat and came back, restarted the argument, and Barry, the victim, intervened in this argument, and they kicked the 7 bells of God knows what out of him, and he had a bleed on the brain due to the repeated blows to his head, and he died. Didn't regain consciousness from the scene. He died later in hospital, and they got done for murder. So that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm going to go. I should do Helen McCourt's case. It's from Billinge. Oh, I know Billinge. It was one of the first to convict without a body. Oh, do I know that case? Do you know? I don't think I know that case. Hold on. Right. Please hold. Helen McCourt. How have I never heard of this? Yes. Murder of Helen McCourt. 1988, she died. 22-year-old British insurance clerk from Lancashire, now Merseyside. Body has never been found. Oh, right. Thank you. I'll look into that. I'll have heard of it. I probably will have done, but I was only a teenager. In 1988, I was a teenager. I probably wasn't looking at murder cases back then. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm holding you all up now. But thank you for spending some time with me while I constantly refresh Twitter. We got the answer. Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit not being released yet. Will be released at a future date, but we don't know when. And he's not out on bail. His bond hearing is February 17th. So that's what we've got from that today. And I'll be back tomorrow at some point. I want to cover the press conference for the Idaho 4, and Leilani Simon's also in court tomorrow for her arraignment. So see what time that's on. Don't know what time that's on, but I'll see. But I'll be back tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you for keeping the chat nice and respectful. Thank you for the super chat, super stickers. Thank you to the moderators, as always. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Cassie's on my back now. She's on my back. She needs a wee. Right, I've got to go. Bye-bye.